Nobody told me I'd be sad if I left Washington, D.C., even though I chose to leave it. But I'd make that same choice again tomorrow. I lived on coastal Delaware for 23 years, and there are things that I wish someone had told me before I got in the car and drove down here. And this is that conversation. 1, the summers will overwhelm you at first. I'm not talking about the heat, because the heat's fine. It's coastal Delaware and not Phoenix. I'm talking about the volume of people. You move here in the spring and everything is calm. You know, the roads are clear and you can park wherever you want and you can walk into any restaurant without a reservation and you think, I made the right call. And then it's Memorial Day weekend and the coast you thought you knew, it turns into something that you do not recognize. Route 1, it's gridlocked and every parking lot is full. The restaurant that you love, it has a 2-hour wait now. And your first instinct is, oh my God, what did I do? Here's what I wish someone had told me. That feeling, it lasts one summer. By your second one, you know the back roads, you know which restaurants take reservations and which ones do not, and you know to go to the beach on Tuesday morning instead of on a Saturday afternoon. You learn the rhythm, and once you learn that, summer becomes your favorite season again. But that first one, it's gonna test you just so you know it's coming. 2, you will become a different person and not even know when it happened. I moved here from the city and I was moving fast, always moving fast. It's just how I operated. Secretly, I still do. And about 18 months in, I was sitting on the beach one evening and realized I hadn't looked at my phone in 3 hours. That's never happened in my adult life. And so something about this place, it slows you down in a way that you can't manufacture. You can't decide to slow down. The beach in coastal Delaware does it to you. The pace here is a little different. It's not lazy and it's not unambitious, it's just a bit different. You start measuring days differently, and a good day isn't always the most productive day. A good day is the day that you got out on the beach or on the water or walked the trail or sat on the front porch and watched the sun go down and felt like you were exactly where you were supposed to be. I didn't know that was possible before I moved here. I don't think that I would have believed it. 3, the off season is real and the reason why people stay. Everyone moves here for the summer and nobody tells you about October. And September comes and the coast changes. And then the crowds thin and the roads open up and the place that felt crowded and loud in July, it becomes different. The restaurants are still open, the trails are empty, and the beach becomes ours. Locals call it the secret season. And after my first October here, I understood why people who move don't really leave. Because the off season is when you find out what this coast actually is. It's not a summer destination, it's a place to live. And the people who figure that out early, they stop talking about leaving somewhere around month 4. 4, the community, it's gonna surprise you. I thought moving to a small beach town meant that I was moving somewhere that would be transient, people would be in and out, they wouldn't be staying very long. I was wrong. Inside of 6 months, I knew my neighbors, and not just their names. I knew their kids, I knew their dogs' names, I knew where they were from and why they moved here. Because the locals on this coast and the people who live, they live here year round, and they're some of the most interesting people that I've ever met. They're former executives who walked away from everything. They're artists, they're fishermen, they're chefs who left the big city restaurants to open something small and personal down here at the beach. And the summer, it brings visitors, but the people who stay, they choose this. And that is what makes community different from anywhere else that I've ever lived. 5, the food is gonna shock you, genuinely. I didn't move here with the food, and I wasn't expecting the food. But the food, it surprised me more than anything else. The Delaware coast, the Delaware beaches, has a James Beard finalist, multiple Wine Spectator Award winners, and restaurants that the Philadelphia Inquirer critic drives down to review. They call it the Culinary Coast. I thought that was marketing when I first moved here. It's not. Heirloom in Lewis, a Victorian house on Savannah Road, is one of the best restaurants that I've been to anywhere. And the Lewis Oyster House, One Coastal, and Sodell, all phenomenal. On a Tuesday night in October, you can sit at a table in a serious restaurant on the water with nobody waiting for your seat and eat a meal that would cost you twice as much in DC or Philadelphia. I didn't know that was coming because nobody told me. 6, The nature will change your relationship with where you live. I knew there were beaches, but I didn't know about everything else. Like the Cape Henlopen State Park. It's 5 minutes from downtown Lewis. There's 5,000 acres where the Delaware meets the Atlantic. And the first time that I walked out to Herring Point, where the bay and the ocean actually meet, and I stood for a really long time. And then I went to Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge, 10,000 acres with more than 300 bird species. In May, the horseshoe crabs spawn on the bay beaches, and millions of migrating shorebirds come through on their way to the Arctic. I watched that for the first time and couldn't explain to anyone back home what I just seen. And then I started kayaking, and I started hiking trails that I didn't even know existed. You start knowing the names of birds and which months the seals come to the breakwater at Cape Henlopen. This coast, it does something to you that's hard to put into words until it's already happened. 7, the taxes will feel too good to be true. I knew Delaware had no sales tax, but I didn't understand the full picture until I filed my first return here. No sales tax. Property taxes in Sussex are around 0.33%. There's no tax on Social Security. There's up to $12,500 retirement income that is excluded from state taxes at 60, and no inheritance tax. I came from a state where my property tax alone was more than my entire annual tax bill here. The first year that I did the math, I called my accountant twice because I thought something had to be wrong. Nothing was. This is just Delaware. Run the numbers for your own situation and do it before you move. Do it now because they will change the conversation. 8, you will grieve what you left, but it's okay. And nobody told me this one. About 6 months in, I missed certain things. I missed the energy of the city on a Friday night. I missed knowing where everything was. I missed the convenience of having everything close. And I felt guilty about it. Like I was supposed to be completely happy, and if I wasn't, something was wrong with the decision that I had made. Well, nothing was wrong with that decision. Moving to a new place, it means grieving what you left, even if you chose to leave it, and even if you're glad you did. But give yourself that first year. By month 12, the things that I missed, they're kind of abstract. By year 2, I actually stopped thinking about them. And by year 3, when I went back home to visit, I drove thinking, I can't wait to get back. 9, the water, it becomes part of who you are. I didn't grow up on the water. I grew up in the mountains. I didn't think of myself as someone who needed it. And I was completely wrong about that. It's a thing about living where the water is always close, whether it's the bay or the ocean or the canals, the Broadkill River that gets into you. There are some mornings that I will drive to the ocean before anything else. Not really to do anything, but just to be there. I didn't know I needed that, and I didn't know that was something that people needed in general. The people who thrive here, and I've watched thousands of people make this move, they all describe the same thing at some point. The water becomes part of how they think, part of how they measure their day. If you're someone who's always been drawn to the water but never lived it, you have no idea what you've been missing, and you won't know until you try it. 10, it will feel like home faster than you expect. The last thing that I told myself before I moved here, it's going to feel like home faster than you think. It wasn't immediate and it took time, but somewhere in that first year, on a random Tuesday, I drove down the road, I've driven 100 times, and something shifted. And it made me think, this is now mine. It wasn't about the house or the address. It was just this, the coast, the light on the water, the familiar face of the coffee shop, and the breakwater trail that I knew every curve of. And again, it was mine. And you realize you stopped thinking about where you came from some time ago, and you didn't even notice when it happened. That's the thing I wish someone had told me was coming. I made a video on 10 ways that sellers hide major defects and exactly what to look for at every showing. Watch that one next.